remind everyone, here is what you see on your desktop. So on your desktop, you will find, and I put them side by side, so this should be clear. There will be two shortcuts for Civil 3D on your desktop. Please ensure that from this point on, don't use the Imperial. Do not use the Imperial. Rather using the metric, because all our work will be in metric template. And it creates a problem if you unintentionally use the Imperial, because simply when you use Imperial template, then you everything is read as feet. And simply you're shrinking your whole site by a ratio of 1/3. So again, please ensure that use metric. One more thing to remind everyone that before using Civil 3D, you need to be connected using your VPN client, because simply the license is on the server and you must be connected. And I will show you a way that a kind of a go around this place. Okay, it's very important. So let's go ahead and start our Civil 3D, the metric template. I guess you need to have a 2020 version, because I know the 2019 for some reason it was not functioning, and hopefully we have no trouble with that. So everybody has updated to the 2020 version. Now, please, everyone, do the following. Please borrow the license. And you can see here, I have done so. Borrow the license. And simply how to do that, and maybe some of you did, just go to the command line and type in borrow license, and simply, because I have done this, it will tell me your license is already borrowed. But please borrow, for you guys, borrow the license. If you haven't borrowed the license yet, it will give you a calendar where you pick when your license would expire. Please go all the way to April, because by April we're done and we don't need Civil 3D anymore. Why I'm asking everyone to do that? Because once you borrow the license, it means you can completely work offline. It means if something happened to your internet, anything happens, you can still use Civil 3D without having to connect yourself to the license. Please do that. Do not do that now, and don't ignore it, because you don't know how much trouble we go through if some of you have problem with the internet, and it will stop you from finishing your assignment. So please do that right now. Borrow your license. In the last class, I discussed with you in the video the component of the interface. Like, remember, any software, it has an interface where it allows the user to deal with the software. The good news is Civil 3D is an Autodesk product, and it's very much like AutoCAD when it comes to the interface. I'm not referring to the functionality. However, I'm referring to the interface. So for example, you have a command line in the CAD and Civil 3D. You have a ribbon here. Maybe the ribbon is different, but still we have a ribbon. And then finally, we have a menu bar. The only one part which is not available in AutoCAD, however, it's only available in Civil 3D, is what you see on the left. So what you see on the left called tool space, and tool space does not exist in AutoCAD. It is brand new to Civil 3D and doesn't exist in AutoCAD. And I will make it clear from this point. Tool space, I can tell you, it is the most important part of the interface. During the next few weeks, you will see I will so often go to tool space and do something. So this is something you will see shortly. Okay. As I said, the Civil 3D is kind of industry standard, and almost everyone in the industry is going to use or using Civil 3D. Autodesk is kind of dominating every single domain of the Civil, so they have software in every single domain you can imagine, in graphics, in laser scanner, in surveying, in what you name it. Autodesk is a monster company, and their software is almost dominating the whole market, and that's why there is no way to go around it. You need to be with Autodesk, I think, mostly. Okay, now The first skill I would like to show you is to, once you finish your survey on site with your total station, so what is your final outcome? Let me show you. So I'm going to minimize here my Civil 3D for, for a couple of minutes, and I will show you what you end up with total station. So guys, please, on the D2L, I'm looking right now on the D2L, and this is something you will see. Today I kind of published some Civil 3D material, so that's new. So please go ahead and download all those materials, which includes tutorial, like I'm trying to give you a demo in the class, but also I provide you with a tutorial. Tutorial, it means it's a PDF file that has some snapshots and some description, because over the years, some students, they love videos, and some others, they kind of hard for them to follow the video. They like static view, like a PDF that they can print and mark on. Okay, so in this class, you are provided with both options: a PDF file that contains description, a snapshot of the procedure or the step, and also a video. For now, I will myself go ahead and download this file, PO123, and it is simply a text file. I will go ahead and download, and if I show you and open the file, this file here is your final outcome of total station. So after spending several hours on site, doing all the magic of total station, this is your final outcome. It's a file that contains all the surveying data that you have collected within your work time. Now, I'm going to show you, it's very simple. It's not very difficult. It's let's take a look at the first line, for example. Don't get scared by all the numbers. Look at the first line only, the first line. So you can see the first line start with 400. And if you follow through the column, the same column, first column, you will see it's kind of sequential number. So start from 400 and then a serial number for 1, 402, 403. And this is a serial number given by the total station. Typically, the user will input the first one if he needs to, and simply total station will add one every time you shoot a new point. So if you start with 1 and then hit enter, it will switch to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At some point, if you want to go from 6 to 2000, you can do that, but the next point will be 2001, 2002, and so on. Okay, so that's kind of a counter, huh? Next is, so you can see there is a big number, which is 640,000 and 896, and so on. So this number is the easting or the X. Remember, I said in surveying, I typically don't use the X, I use the easting of the point, okay? Which you may think about as the X, like the X coordinates, followed by the Y. So the next number is the Y, which is 813 point or something, okay? And finally, you get to the elevation. So comma, the elevation, which is 80.55. Okay, so you can see it's a point number, and then easting, northing, elevation, and then finally it's the description. And the description is very, very important in surveying. You don't know how important those two letters to our surveying process. Without them, I can tell you, in most cases, the data is useless. So if my surveyor spent hours and hours and hours on site and simply forget to assign every point a description, then congratulations, the data is almost useless in most cases. In some cases it's okay, but in most cases it's not okay, because simply we need to know where was my rod on. Was it on top of a manhole or electrical post or tree or other features on site? You will see how important this shortly in our discussion today. Really, what I wanted to know for the time being is that every total station file, it has a format. Format, it means what is the sequence of the information within the file. For example, in this case, it's a point number followed by the easting, by the northing, by the elevation, by description, And what separates between the information is a comma. Something you need to know that this is a setup. So if you use TotalStation, there is an option where you can control the output shape or the output format. What you see here is kind of very standard, like point number, easting, northing, elevation, and then description. Why I'm trying to insist and show you this file? Because you will see, as soon as I try to read the file and draw all these points in Civil 3D, you need to know what is the file format. It's a must. You cannot import the points into Civil 3D without knowing the file format. So please take a note that the file format is, it's a point number followed by easting, by the northing, by elevation, and description with the same with a comma delimiter. So it's delimited by a comma between the information. For now, I am going to close this guy for now. I will switch back to my Civil 3D. The first skill I would like to teach you today is how to read the TotalStation file and bring them all these points into the Civil 3D. We call it posting the points into Civil 3D. To do so, there are so many ways, like as you learn from AutoCAD, dealing with the software, using several different interface. We can write the command, we can use menu and menu bar, we can use the ribbon. So same as AutoCAD, there are so many ways to import the points. You know what? I will be very precise to the point. I don't have to show you all the methods because I'm going to use the time in class more efficiently. Okay? You can explore those on your own leisure, and they are available already on my tutorial. So here is the best method for me. I go from menu points. I will leave it for a second so you guys can take your time and understand. So we go from menu points. Then we go down to import the points. It makes sense, huh? We're trying to read and import the points. So we go down to import/export, and then finally hit to import the points. I will leave it for a second.
I don't have that option.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna stop in here, guys. This is something I discussed already in last class. So what happens here, the software has a menu bar, has a ribbon, and we can turn on and turn off those part of the interface. So please, for all of you, do the following, all of you with me right now, all of you. You go ahead and on your command line, you type in MENU bar. I'm going to leave it for a second. You type in menu bar as one word. Okay? Then you hit enter. And what happens here, you have a parameter, and the parameter right now is 1. 1 means it is shown. And that's for you, whoever asked, I'm pretty sure your number is 0. Please confirm. Do you read 0?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
So please type in 1 and then hit enter. And this is the way you're able to show the menu bar. Please, all of you, ensure that you are showing the menu bar. Why do we show and hide menu bar? Is because when you hide menu bar, you simply gain more display area. I have done this in the last video, in the last class, where I show students how to turn on and turn off menu bar and also the ribbon. So you should be able to turn on and turn off your ribbon. Please, if your ribbon is not shown, watch last video and see how I can show the ribbon one more time. For now, I'm assuming that everyone in my class right now has the menu bar. So here we go. We go from menu item points. We go down to import/export points. Finally, we go to import points. We'll leave it for a second. If you want to take snapshot, again, you don't have to do that because simply there is a PDF tutorial for your use. Okay, in the PDF tutorial, you will see exactly what's right now. I take a snapshot, I placed it on my PDF tutorial. Now, when you do so, this is what you get. And I want to please listen to every single word of what I'm saying, because I have taught this course for 12 or 13 times. And I kind of got to a list of all the common problems and common issues where most of the students will fall into. Okay, so whatever I warn you, then please understand that this is very common trap and error for most of my students. Okay, now, so what you see on my screen is called the import points dialog box, where we have to do few steps. I think what makes sense is I want to import one file. So I think you probably think, where is my file? If you agree, which is very simple. And it's the first one on the top. It says here, selected files. I will go ahead to the right, and you can see there is a plus sign. And something also I want to teach you is that when you leave your cursor for maybe couple of seconds on top of any button on Civil 3D is very handy. It gives you a tool tip. So what you see here is a tool tip. It kind of tells you what this button does for you. Okay, so let's do that. Let's click on this ad and see what happens here. It's simply just like any other program. It simply shows you all your computer where you can navigate yourself and go to one specific folder that you have saved your files to. So you can see I have just downloaded my files, and I think my file is available under download. And if you remember the file name, it's called PO123. This is the file that I have just brought in or downloaded from D2L, PO123. Wherever you place it, just go ahead and find this file. I would recommend you to kind of create a structure on your laptop about our training, but that's up to you. But please, the worst place is you leave it on your desktop, because after some time, you know what happens to our desktop. It became full of hundreds and hundreds of files. Please don't do that. Now, I say, okay, you know what? Here we go, open. However, I want to mention something at this point. The software allows you to multi-select. Multi-select, what does it mean? It means you can import 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 or 1,000 file in the same step. For example, if I'm away from my office and my surveyor went to the site for the week I was away, so finally when I came back to the office, then how many files do I have? I have 5 or 6 files. The software allows you to import more than one file in the same step by multi-select. So we can select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even 100. And then we can go ahead and say open. However, Tahir, from my experience, I can tell you, I don't recommend you to do that. Even you have several files, do not import them in one step. And I will show you in a minute why. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the file name. Here we go. And you can see here, the list here has been populated with my file. So the file is here where I'm pointing right now. And if you have imported 2 or 3, all of them, they will be listed here. In case you change your mind and you want to get rid of some of them, there is a delete button. So on the right here, you can simply click on one file and go ahead and delete if you change your mind and you don't want to import it at the time, okay? Anyway, I have one file. I'm okay with that. Next, here we go. Guys, one of the most common, and please take a note, I hate to see some of you are not listening. Some of you think it's one step. As soon as I click on my file name, I can go right away to the very bottom and I can hit OK. Please do not do that. It's a fatal mistake, and I will tell you why is that. So please don't think about this process as one step. Here is my file, okay, don't do that. Why? Because simply there are more things to do on the same dialog box. And it's very simple because you have to go from the top to the bottom, ensuring that everything has been looked at, which is number 2, please read, specify point file format. So the point file format is simply telling the software Where can I read the X? Where can I read the Y? Where can I read the Z? Let me show you right now. Right now, what is selected is by default the first one on the top. It means the file format is ENZ, which means the first number is the easting, the second number is the northing, the last number is the elevation. And to prove that, there is a preview panel. So below the specify point, there is a preview panel. And this preview panel, it tells you how the software interpreted all the numbers. Watch this, please. Very important. Look at the 401 and 2 and 3. You can see the software read them as easting. I'm asking you, please confirm. Are those numbers are the easting of the points?
No.
No.
No, and that's why it's a must. You must scroll down here and then try to locate the file format among a predefined. Look at this, predefined. So nobody has created those formats. They come with the installation of the software. All you have to do is pick the right format. We already discussed that this one is the right format. Please take your time and read what I'm selecting right now. P E N Z D, comma, delimited. So this is the format that you should use. And I want to warn you, and please take a note, there is a very similar format which always create problems, which is this one here. It is PNEZD. Why creates a problem? Because the format looks like very similar to the first one. However, the easting and the northing, they are switched, which means every time the software will read the easting, will think of the easting as the northing, and will think about the northing as the easting. So you will see things rotated 90 degrees. Okay, so let's go back and pick this one. For your information, what happens if the format that I'm trying to import does not exist within those predefined format? The software allows you to create any format you like on here. So on the right side here, okay, it allows you to create any format you like. Again, leave your cursor for a second and it will tell you manage formats. And if you go here, you will see you can create new. And I can tell you, I have been working in this business for so many years, and simply probably you will never need this one on the right. And even you need it, it's very simple to kind of customize and create your own format. However, I can tell you, Civil 3D has created for you everything you need. Now, again, please don't ignore the following. Once you pick the format, spend 2 seconds to ensure that the software has interpreted the file as anticipated. What does it mean? It means 401 and 2, those are, you can read, are point number. The next is, this number is easting, northing, elevation, and finally description. Okay, now guys, one more thing which is super important. What I'm gonna scroll down here and pick this one, and you can see this one is, can you read, PENZ, comma, delimited, and you can see the 400 still there, which is point number, easting, northing, elevation. So what is the problem of this format? Can anybody tell me if by mistake choose this format? You can see the points will go into the right position because everything is right. However, there is a little problem, and actually it's not little, it is super huge problem. Any help?
It leaves
There's no
out the
description.
letters at the back.
Exactly, thank you so much. There is no description, which means, yes, the software will read your file, will plot all your points. However, it doesn't bring in the description, which means all your points will have no description, and you will see description. I would say it's even more than XYZ, because description, you will see how important description later on. So please ensure that you pick the right format, and on the same time, you go ahead below and read the preview. Next is, go to the next below, and it says here, add points to point group. And I know now you know nothing about point group. What does it mean? You know what does it mean point, huh? But so far, you know nothing about point group. Let me explain for you what does it mean point group. So think about point group as a container, as a room, okay, as a collection. Okay, so we are grouping all these points in one group. And I will tell you, it is super important. When we bring in points, we need to add them to a point group, and this will make our life easy in the future. And I will share with you how in a minute. Okay, now, why do we have to make a point group? Because simply if you work on a project, extended project where you have a 5 surveyor every day, they go to different area of your project and you work in this area for a month. So you end up with a huge amount of data. And if you combine all of them in the same, I would say, group, in the same container, there is no way for you to kind of identify the error or maybe fix it in the future. Watch this, please. I'm going to show you how important to add to a group. To do that, right now, if I hit OK by mistake, if I forget to do that, hit OK, what happens is your points will come in. However, they do not belong to a specific group. Okay, now watch this, please. Right now, this area is disabled. You cannot do anything. However, once you check this box, guess what? See here, this area became activated and enabled, and you should be able to add your points to a point group. However, because this is a brand new drawing, a drawing that nobody has touched before, it means you can see it is empty. There is no point group has been created so far. Let's do one now, which is super simple. All you have to do is you come to this little button here on the right side of the drop down menu. Okay, this button over here. You click on it and simply there is a placeholder. Okay, tell me, give me the name. Okay, and I'm gonna teach you right now a rule. It's not really a rule. When you create a point group, you can be careless and you say, you know what, G1 or group 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 10 and 20. I'm telling you, this way of naming the point group is useless. And I will tell you why. Let me ask you this question. In CVT, you've gone so far probably about 18 courses, I would say, 18 courses. You still have 6 courses to go to finish our program. And so 18 courses, every course will have assignment 1 and 2 and 3. Would you call them or name them on your computer assignment 1? So in surveying, assignment 1, 2, 3. In strength of material, assignments 1, 2, and 3. I'm asking you how difficult to search for one assignment in the future. If you say assignment number 1 and you search for it, then all assignment number 1 will come mixed between surveying and then strength of material and so on. However, if you include the name of the course, let's say survey 3 to 5 or SMTL 246 and so on and so forth, it is easier for you to identify the file without having to open the file itself. Hopefully this makes sense for you. And that's why calling something on Civil 3D G1 and G2, those generic names, simply it is useless. Let me show you my way. And again, the SOTA Bible, you can think about it as we're trying to give a good name to my files. Let's go ahead and say, and I'm going to say here 2021 dash today is January 21st. Let's say this is a fresh data was collected today. So that's the date. I'm going to say here Stony Trail. I'm going to say TH. Okay. So what do you see on this naming convention? So I kind of did the name. So I have the date, sorry, the date, and I added the project name and simply put the initials of the surveyor. This means in the future, if I come back to the same file after 10 years, I would know that this group of points were collected on that day on that project by this surveyor. So just in case if I have question for one specific surveyor, then I have a reference to the data. Okay, I hope you guys agree that a good name is very, very handy. Okay, you guys know that I sometimes spend more time on something that maybe look for some of you trivial, but I want to ensure that you guys follow these rules. okay? Because that's the best practice. As soon as hit OK, guess what? You look at this menu here and you will see I have here my point group created. So I could go ahead right now and hit OK. However, for the sake of exercise, I will do one more time. I will click here one more time and I will say, you know what? 2021-01-20, which is yesterday. I will say Stony Trail, and I will say, let's say, CL. Let's say another surveyor with initial CL, okay? And I'm gonna hit OK. Remember, when you drop this menu right now, how many point groups available in this file? We have two. The one that you choose before you hit OK is the one that these points will go into. Remember, this sometimes create problem because you used to tell me I have a point group, but my point group is empty. The reason is simply whatever you chose here before you hit OK, this is the point group that will simply accept the points. Okay, now the last portion, we're very close to end and hit OK. And the last portion is it's called advanced option. And I can tell you it is really advanced. And I bet you maybe until you retire, maybe you'll never use them. It's very advanced. I'll give you an idea. For example, sometimes we need to do a transformation of coordinates. And I know maybe by now you know nothing about transformation of coordinate, but as simple as do I want to rotate my coordinates? Do I want to shift my coordinate? Do I want to scale my coordinates? You can do that. However, this requires more setup and is not really part of this course. Okay? So really, please, for now, just don't worry too much about the advanced option. However, all I want to emphasize at this point, importing the points is not only one step. It's not only here's my file. You have to choose the format, has to be the right format. How do I know it's right format is through the preview. And then finally, make sure that every time you import the points, you need to create a new point group. You will see how important this as we go through our course. Okay, so right now, looks like the points will go to TH. And let's go ahead and hit OK. Let's do that. So these points, by the way, it was my own survey. I have done the survey years ago when I used to go to the site. And I'm going to show you right now how the data looks like. Now you can see I said, you know, the points have been imported. However, my screen is empty. You don't see any point. Okay. If you know about AutoCAD, probably you would know the reason. What I'm saying right now is I already imported the points, so the points are in the file. However, I cannot see them right now. Do you know why?
Yes, it's Zoom extend.
Thank you, sir. Really, that's the answer. So the points, because of the coordinates, they are really in my drawing, but somewhere else in the world. And I'm zooming right now to somewhere. I need to bring everything into my zoom. Watch this, please. I go ahead and say on my command line, I say Z for zoom, enter, and then E for extend, then enter, and you will see all my points are there. Again, I'm old school, so if you will notice that I typically use command line to deal with AutoCAD because I have learned AutoCAD back in 1996, where there is no such what you see right now. It was mainly command line thing, okay, and that's why that's my preference. But for you guys, you are probably new generation. You learn AutoCAD where there's something called icons and toolbars and stuff like that. So do whatever it takes you to look at your data. Now here is our data, and I want to expand the discussion further to this. So you know what? I will simply zoom in. So you can see it's very dense. So I'll pick one area that may be clear or easy to see. Let's look at this one here. Okay. Now every point in every point you bring in, it will look like so. And you can see it's kind of very condensed because there are so much text here. So I will just click on it like so. And when you click on it like so, you will have two grips. You can see two grips in here in cyan. One grip will move the point, and one grep here will move the text, the labels. Now, let me ask you, would you move the point or the label? Any help?
Label. Move the
Thank
label.
you so much. Never, ever, ever move a surveying point. Because if you move a surveying point, it means you're moving a fire hydrant, you're moving a building. Please don't ever move a surveying point because simply you're moving the point on site. Okay, so we click on this grep and you can see I'm able to kind of take this label, put it away. The reason why I do that, because I want you to see better. Okay. Okay, so you can see we have a leader, so the leader will take you from the label to the point. You know what? Before I continue discussion on the labels, because we have lots of discussion today about the labels, I'm interested to show you something tool space. Let's go to the tool space for the first time ever in this class. Now, tool space is as I said, one of the most important, if not the most important part of the interface. Please take your time and try to get yourself familiar with the names. Look at this. So here we have points, and then point groups, surfaces, alignments, feature lines, sites, catchment, pipe network, corridors, assemblies. Okay, in my class, I promise you that I will expose you to most of those, not all of them, because again, the software is too much to cover in one course, especially that we have so many other topics to talk about it. However, really at this point of time, you can see we have an item called point groups, and I think point groups is simply a container. In tool space, once you see this plus sign, so please look at where I'm circling my cursor right now. This sign, it means there is something below. Once you click on the plus sign, you can simply expand. Okay, very important, huh? When you see the plus sign, it means you can expand. Now take a look, and I'm gonna, stretch my tool space a little bit so you guys can see better. Please take a look and try to understand how many points group do we have right now. If you count them, you will see 1 in blue right now, 2, and then 3. And I know, so you will say, Tahir, listen, we haven't created 3. We have created 2, which is Stony Trail CL and Stony Trail TH. How about this one? So please understand that every Civil 3D drawing, it has a default point group. And this default point group, it simply contains all the points. Look at the name. The name is underscore all points, which means literally it's all points, which means, for example, if I have 500 points here and I have 200 points here, so this one would have all of them. So if you want to deal with all of them, you do some work here. If you want to deal with the 200, those points, you do it here. One more thing which is very important, which is you can see when I imported my points, the last point group I was selecting is this one. And you can see all the points are under this point group. How about this one? It is empty, empty. How would I know it's empty? Very, very simple. Number one, you can see front of your point group, there is no dot. Same in here. So this one here has this dot. Look at my cursor. So this tells you that the point group is not empty. How about this one? It is empty. Now, also, when you click on this point group, guess what? You will get here a preview at the bottom. I'm going to expand. Please take a look, and you will see here is the coordinates of the points under this point group. And you will see, I will show you later on, not now, probably not today, that this is the database that we store all the points, and every time I do change here, it will be reflected on my drawing. For example, if I want to change the elevation or maybe rename the point, simply I can do that here. And once I change the number here, simply my drawing will echo and will listen to me and will change according to these points. So this is the database. If I change my database, simply the drawing will change. Again, be careful, because in 99%, we don't want to move our points However, sometimes if I, for example, found out that there was one mistake when I survey point 401, and let's say I know the elevation of 401, it's let's say 82 meter, then I can go ahead and I change my 82 here, and simply it will reflect an echo to my drawing. You know what? For now, I will leave this and I will come back. I'll promise you I'll come back to my tool space later on. However, let's go right now and look at the data. Something I want you to understand that by default, when I import my points, every point will have a point marker. So this here is the point marker. Very simple. It's a red cross. And by the way, that's the default, I guess. So every time when you open a brand new, by default, all the points will take this marker. We call it basic, as you will know later on. It will take this kind of graphics and simply recross. Also, when you bring the points, by default, every point will show those labels. Now, let's try to understand what are those labels. On the top here, this number, which is 853, this is the point number, okay? And the one below the point number is, which is 87.93, this is the elevation of the point. Because remember, this is a plan view, and the point is really located at the right easting and the northing, and this is the elevation of the point. Finally, the one or the last part of the label is a description, which is L. And remember, nobody knows the meaning of L except one person, who is the surveyor. The one who pushed L into total station before he or she shoot the point, they know what was L. Okay, remember, if it's really what I said is true, like only the surveyor, it means surveyor will be the most important one. Huh? The thing is, typically, for the company, for the one company, all the surveyor will follow the same codes. Okay, same codes. For example, all the surveyor within one company, they will call the back of the curb as, for example, R, and maybe all the trees as T, and maybe all the building as B, and so on and so forth. Huh? However, at some point, if you question what does it mean L, you are working in the office and you're questioning what does it mean L, it's as simple as you call the surveyor and the surveyor will give you the answer. Now, I want to give you something before we break, which should go very fast, which is, now, you can see that the shape of the point is a simple cross, like in red, and we have those set of labels. Now, what if I want to change the appearance of the point? Let's say I want to have a different graphical representation of the point on my drawing. I'm not really wanting to represent this point as red cross. What if I want to make it, let's say, a different shape? And what if I want to assign and show different labels on the point? Does the software give me this option? Yes, it does. So the discussion for now, probably for 5 minutes before the break, I will show you how to change the style of, I'm not going to say style for now, the appearance of the point and the appearance of the label. And we do that through something called style. Remember this name, huh? Style, 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 okay? So the style is what allows you to control the visual appearance of any element. And I'm very clear, any element in Civil 3D. And you will see how many times I'm going to say style in this class. Style. We will control the point style. We will control the point table style. In the future, when I create tables and alignment and profile, you will see in Civil 3D, everything comes with a style. And the user have full control of the style. Remember, the style is the appearance. It means color, it means shape, it means height, it means precision. All of that is under the style. For the next 5 minutes, as I said, I will show you how do we change the point style. It means I'm not really liking the style or the shape of this point. Now, to do so, I will go back to the most important part of the interface, which is tool space. So what you have to do is you need to move tool space and simply click like so on top of the point group that contains all these points. Not really on top of this one. Remember, this one has nothing. So if I do some changes, doesn't do anything. That's why you have to be on top of the point group that contains all these points. Next is, please take a right click like so. So you can see here, you take a right click, it shows you a dialog box where contains so many commands, very handy. I will do my best to cover as much as I can in this class. You can see I have properties and I have edit and I have lock and unlock, export all the way to refresh. For now, I'll go to properties. I'll leave it for a second. So you go to tool space, you click on the point group, then you take a right click, right click. Then on this dialog box, you click on properties. When you click on properties, you will get this window here where it has so many tabs. Please watch this. It has point groups, row description, include, exclude, query, overrides, pointless summary. Really, in this class, our focus will be on information. Information. So on this first tab, you can see there is a place where it shows you the name of the point group. And if I change my mind, let's say, for example, I did mistake and this is not really TH, not Tahir Hassan. Let's say this is LC. I can go ahead and rename the file or the point group here. Remember, you cannot have two point groups with the same name. So the software will complain if you use the same name. Also, you can fill here some description. It's very handy, by the way. Sometimes you can write things like, for example, it was raining that day, it was super windy, and you can say whatever you like in this description, which you can use it in the future to do something. So they have a description, a placeholder where you can add anything you wish. Now, next is this part here, which is called default style. Default styles. And you can see here, we have two things, and I want you to be clear from now. Style controls for the point that controls the appearance of the point, another style that controls the appearance of the label. And those are two different things. We can control the shape of the point, and we can control the shape of the labels. For now, please, let's focus on the points, only the points, which means I'm going to be here. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop this menu. So you can see here, it's a drop-down menu where you have a predefined, and look at the name, predefined. It means none of us has created those styles. When you install the software, they come with the software. Right now, basic is the one selected, which means red cross. Let's go ahead and take a benchmark. So if you change the benchmark and then hit apply, so I'm going to move this one to the side so you guys can see and hit apply. Watch this, please. So look at the point. I want you to understand, recognize that when I selected the benchmark and I hit apply, you can see the shape of the point has changed. Let's do it one more time. I drop this menu. I say, let's say, gas valve. Okay, and I say apply. So what happens here is simply the points, they have a different shape. One last time, let's go with tree and hit apply. You can see all the points will take the tree symbol. Before I finish this part here, let's drop this menu and see one of the most important, and I know you won't feel how important now, but you will see. There is one style called none. I'm asking you, If I choose none, what do you think? What's going to happen? I need some help.
Your points disappear.
Thank you so much. Yes, all the points in this point group will disappear, not delete. Remember, it's not deleted, it just disappear. Just like freeze in AutoCAD. It means turn off my points. And I know some of you will ask, Tahir, when, why, where? Why should I turn off my points? You will see this is in our exercise. Okay? But remember that in every style, we will have a none. It means please hide them. I don't want to see them at the moment. I want to hide them because I'm doing something else. Okay. On the same, I'm gonna return it to basic. So let's do that. Let's hide it them. So you guys can be convinced now. You can see if I hide them, there is no points anymore. I'll go back to 3, and I will say to 3, and then I'll say apply. Now I will focus onto my my label style. I'll hit OK. I'll zoom back here. Okay, so you guys can see. So right now I will repeat the same thing, but not really focusing on the symbol of the point rather than the labels, the labels. So I'll do it one more time to remind everyone, how can I control the appearance of the label? Is through something called point label style. Listen to this, So there's something called point style, and there is something called the point label style. How can I get access to the point label style? Watch this one more time. I go to tool space. I click on the point group. I right click. And finally, I go to properties. Then here we go. You can see below here, there is a point label style where if I drop this menu, there is also some predefined styles. And look at the name. Every style, the name is very descriptive. I'm asking you, what does it mean elevation only? Anybody? I know it's very intuitive, but I need confirmation. What does it mean elevation only? What this style do for us? If I choose elevation only, can anybody guess if I say apply, what happens?
It will
It's gonna
just
show you
show
the
elevations, not the points.
So a couple of students, they were talking. So here is what happens. It means it will simply show elevation and elevation only, and will hide the point number and the description. Let's try. So hit apply and see what happens. You see it hides the point description and the point number, and I see elevation only. I will do it one more time with, for example, description only. I'll hit apply. You will see the elevation will go away, and I'm left with the description only. And then finally, remember there is something called the none, and it means none. It means really none. It means I hit apply. You can see all the labels will be gone, and I have no labels. And I know at this point of time, some of you will say, "How come, Tahir? Are you sure? Do we hide all the description?" Yes, sometimes we do. If you question why, please wait. You will see this in our exercise. Any question for now? Any question for now? Okay, so if you have no question, we'll break for 10 minutes, and I will see you guys here back at 11:07. 11:07, 10 minutes, please.
Hey,
Take a rest.
Is
Go
there
ahead.
a way to select, like, if the description's L, to only change the description L points?
Absolutely, there is.
Yeah.
Okay, so your name, please.
Ryan?
So Ryan was asking, is there a way to change the description or something for L? You will see probably after the break, we will go through advanced option where I can show you a more control of the point and point label style. Okay, we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. We'll see you here at 11:07. 10 minutes break. Take a rest, please. Thank you.